How billionaires protect their power. Most people think billionaires stay powerful because they have more money. That's the surface-level explanation the public accepts because it's easy to understand. But money alone has never protected power. If it did, lottery winners would become dynasties. The real reason billionaires remain untouchable is because they understand something ordinary people never study. Power is not protected through wealth. It's protected through systems. The moment someone enters the highest levels of influence, they stop thinking like workers and start thinking like architects. They build networks nobody can see, legal shields nobody understands, relationships nobody can access, and the terrifying part? Most of these systems operate quietly, right in front of the public. So before we go deeper, type "Power leaves patterns" in the comments. And if you want more videos exposing the hidden psychology of wealth, influence, and elite-level power dynamics, subscribe to the channel now. Because the deeper you understand the game, the harder it becomes for the system to control you. The average person thinks billionaires protect their power with bodyguards, private jets, and massive bank accounts. That's what the public sees. But visible wealth is only the outer shell. The real protection exists underneath, inside systems people never notice. Because at the highest levels of society, power is not defended emotionally, it's engineered. And the first thing billionaires understand is this: attention is dangerous. The more visible you become, the more vulnerable you become. That's why many of the most powerful people in the world operate through layers. Layers of companies, layers of legal protection, layers of intermediaries, layers of distance between themselves and the public. Most ordinary people own things directly. A billionaire rarely does. Their assets are hidden inside structures designed to protect ownership, reduce liability, and preserve control even during lawsuits, scandals, divorces, market crashes, or political changes. Because wealthy people understand something most workers never think about. If your wealth can be touched easily, it can be taken easily. And this mindset extends far beyond money. Billionaires protect information the same way they protect assets. Notice how the truly powerful rarely reveal their full intentions publicly. They speak carefully, strategically, sometimes vaguely. Not because they are unintelligent, because information creates vulnerability. The average person overshares constantly: their location, their plans, their emotions, their opinions, their weaknesses. But powerful individuals understand that visibility gives people data, and data creates leverage. That's why elite circles value discretion so heavily. At lower levels of society, people compete for attention. At higher levels, people compete for access. And access is controlled through exclusivity. This is why billionaires intentionally limit availability. You can't call them directly. You can't easily reach them. You usually go through assistants, managers, lawyers, advisors, gatekeepers. That distance is not accidental. It's strategic insulation. Because constant accessibility weakens authority. The more difficult someone is to reach, the more psychologically valuable they appear. Scarcity creates status, and powerful people understand status is one of the most valuable currencies on earth. Look carefully at elite institutions, private investment firms, old money families, political dynasties, luxury brands. Everything operates through controlled exclusivity. Not everyone gets in, not everyone gets access, not everyone belongs, because protecting power often means controlling proximity. But perhaps the most important thing billionaires protect is narrative. Most people underestimate how much power exists inside public perception. A billionaire can lose millions financially and still remain powerful if people continue believing in their influence. On the other hand, someone can still be wealthy on paper, but become socially powerless once public perception collapses. That's why powerful individuals invest heavily into image management, public relations teams, media relationships, strategic partnerships, political connections, carefully crafted interviews. Because perception affects trust, trust affects influence, and influence protects wealth. This is why many elite figures remain calm during public criticism. They understand something emotional people don't. Narratives are temporary. Power comes from surviving long enough for public attention to move elsewhere, and attention always moves. That patience becomes a weapon. While ordinary people react emotionally to every attack, billionaires often think in decades. That's another difference. Average people focus on income. The powerful focus on longevity. They don't just ask, "How do I make money?" They ask, "How do I maintain control for generations?" That's why many billionaire families become obsessed with succession, legacy, and institutional influence. They build foundations, private networks, political relationships, educational access, corporate alliances, because real power is not about becoming rich once. It's about creating systems that survive after you're gone. And once you begin noticing these patterns, you realize billionaires are not simply protecting money, they're protecting position. And this is where most people completely misunderstand power. They think billionaires wake up every morning obsessed with luxury, the yachts, the mansions, the private islands. But for many of them, those things become secondary very quickly, because once someone reaches extreme levels of wealth, money stops being the main obsession. Control becomes the obsession: control over markets, control over information, control over influence, control over who gets opportunities and who doesn't. That's why many billionaires continue working long after they've acquired more money than they could ever spend. It was never just about consumption. It was about positioning themselves above uncertainty. The average person lives exposed to economic pressure constantly. A job loss can destroy stability, one medical emergency can create financial collapse, one bad year can change everything. But billionaires spend their lives building systems designed to remove vulnerability itself. That's why they diversify aggressively, why they own assets instead of liability, why they invest into industries, governments, media, technology, and infrastructure simultaneously, because dependence is weakness. And powerful people hate dependence. This is also why many billionaires become deeply connected to political and institutional systems. Not always through corruption like people imagine, sometimes through influence. Think about it carefully. The person who shapes regulations, the person who controls platforms, the person who funds campaigns, person who influences narratives, often holds more real-world power than the visible public figure standing in front of cameras. That's the hidden layer most people never study. Public power attracts attention. Invisible power controls outcomes. And billionaires understand that invisible influence is far safer than public dominance. This is why many elite individuals appear quiet in public while operating aggressively behind closed doors. They don't need validation from the crowd, because real power rarely announces itself loudly. It moves silently, legally, strategically. And perhaps the darkest truth of all is that many systems in society naturally protect those who already possess influence. The wealthy have access to elite lawyers, elite advisors, elite financial education, elite networks. Meanwhile, ordinary people are often navigating complex systems completely alone. That gap compounds over time. Access creates advantage, advantage creates momentum, momentum creates dominance. And eventually, the distance between ordinary people and elite power structures becomes almost impossible to close. But this video is not about worshipping billionaires. And it's not about fear either, it's about awareness. Because once you understand how power protects itself, you stop moving through life blindly. You begin paying attention to leverage, to systems, to influence, to positioning. You stop thinking only about working harder and start thinking about building structures that protect your future. That shift alone changes everything. Now, that does not mean becoming paranoid, cold, or manipulative. The goal is not to lose your humanity chasing power. The goal is to stop being naive about how the world actually operates. Because whether people admit it or not, every level of society runs on protection. Some protect reputation, some protect influence. Some protect resources, some protect access. The difference is that billionaires do it intentionally, and intention is what separates random success from lasting power. So as you move forward, remember this. Wealth alone does not make someone untouchable. Systems do, discipline does, positioning does, silence does, and strategic thinking does. That's how power survives. Not loudly, quietly, potently, generationally. And maybe that's the final lesson hidden behind all of this. The people who truly control the game are often the ones you barely see playing it at all. Until next time, protect your focus, protect your leverage, and most importantly, learn how the system works before the system learns how to use you.